Do you happen to remember when you first even encountered the idea or kind of the initial seed of inspiration to use
Yeah.
projections in one of your shows?
Yeah, it wasn't successful, but I remember when we first made an attempt, which was 2009.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a production of the production was actually January of 2010, but the idea and the flow of it was 2009 for production of Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Um, and uh trying to figure out how to create the Oz character
Hmm.
through projections, basically just that portion of the show. We didn't
Sure.
try to do the show with projections, just
Just
an
that part.
element,
Yeah.
right? And it wasn't, we did do projection, but it wasn't at all what the original intent was,
Hmm.
which was an animation basically that for the most part worked in conjunction with a live actor that was delivering the lines, and it just
Hmm.
didn't, it ended up being a static image.
Oh,
um
okay.
and it looked fun, and to us it was like, oh my gosh, we failed. To the audience, just like anything in theater, just to the
I
audience,
know.
it probably was great,
I know. I
but that
know.
was the first exploration, and kind of the first like, oh, this could be, as an educator, this could be a direction I go. And that was my last year in education for 3 years. So,
Wow.
you know,
Wow.
because I took a 3 year break to be on tour. So,
Right.
um, and with that tour, we used a ton of projections, but that was an education world. So,
Well,
yeah,
the world of technology was so different in
yes,
2009 too.
yeah,
What you could even get access to. I'm sure you guys were probably working with some pretty basic stuff, huh?
yeah. I mean, we even explored the idea, and it's not. I mean, this was even old technology in 2009, but we even explored the idea of the rack,
Oh
of
yeah.
doing a spindle, basically of that old,
Hmm.
um, individual
Carousel, like a
individual
carousel
slides
projector.
carousel. Thank
Yeah.
you. I couldn't, but that old idea of individual slides that work together to be something that was visually moving, and I don't mean emotionally
Wow.
moving. I
Yeah.
mean, although it might have been emotion, I don't know. But but
Yeah.
but yeah, we even explored with that kind of content, but again, it wasn't giving us the result we kind of had in our brains.
Hmm.
Um, but uh, but yeah, but I mean, my education and my my really just kind of feet to the fire introduction to projections was with Straight No Chaser, and I took, even though that wasn't theater per se, it's performance, but I took my education from touring with those guys
Hmm.
for a few years in back into the classroom when I went to back to public school.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up first, Blake, anyways, because, I think that that fear initially is what
Hmm.
I see a lot of, when
Hmm.
when I go to conferences like TXETA,
Right,
I would say probably 90% of the people that come up to the booth, they're jazzed about it, they're excited, they would like to try it, but they're already convinced that it's not going to work in their space,
yep,
or it's going to be too expensive, or it's going to be too much. And of course, schools, budgets vary,
yep,
technical staff varies, resources vary. But I think some of what I like that's what I like is when they come up just saying, hey, you don't have to have everything
right,
to start. You really
right,
can work with what's around you, even if you can kind of beg or borrow a projector of some reasonable brightness that might be a little bit better than your classroom
right,
projector, and just get started. Just
right,
just see what it looks like, because you can poke around online forever and still it's not going to give you that true test of like, how does this look to my eyes, or how
right,
might this look to an audience member's eyes? Like you said, that suspension of disbelief in theater can go a long way.
right, right. Yeah, and just coincidentally, it's the same production, but I remember Brad Cummins, who was at Austin High School in Fort Bend for a very long time, uh, used projections for the Wicked Witch.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I could be wrong on this, but I want to say that the Wicked Witch was played by Jasmine Amy Rogers, who was Boop on Broadway for, you know. But he projected the fire on the broom,
Uh-huh.
and instead of, because in Texas you can't have open flame on stage,
Right.
which that's not a knock. It's just I understand that. But he projected the flame on her broom, and I remember him talking about the challenges behind that, and
Hmm.
um, but it was just that he projected, like he
Yeah.
just that moment, for that show. So it goes to what you were saying about like it just getting a little bit of a taste for it. It doesn't have to be from curtain up to curtain down. It can be
Right.
moments in the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking to a friend about that very thing because, when it comes to backdrops, I mean, some people come from a fabric world, but a lot of the people that I've worked with, they've never had the fly space
Hmm.
to even think about that.
Yep.
So you see something and you're thinking, wow, I've got this space that I can fill up with an image. I'm going to use a black curtain or I can start to
Yeah.
put some imagery up there. So it's really kind of a low bar to start. But then, of course, since 2009, the equipment has gotten much more affordable
Right.
and
Yeah.
available. And you're even starting to see LED screens and things like that
Yep.
entering into schools.
Yep. Yeah, I do. And I think that, I mean, for someone like you, or like a Covenant, who's one of those kind of, at least in this area, the sort of the drivers behind an LED screen, things like that, the higher end technology, doing that side by side of, well, here's how much you're going to probably spend on the set to do all of the things you want to do with this one device, basically. And I'll call an
Right.
LED screen one device, which I know it's multiple panels, but but I mean, like that, you are with this one projector, you're going to be able to do every scene plus a show logo, and plus you could roll credits at the end of all your tech. I mean, you could do the it's limitless on what you could do. Comparing that price to the amount of lumber you might get, and paint and hardware and time, even just the,
Right.
Stephen Bogart at the John Cooper School, who's the best carpenter in the world. I'll plug him. But he's amazing. But he always talked about, I'm going to go buy this thing for $250, because if I were to build it, it would probably cost a little less, but my time is worth more.
Right.
And and I don't think teachers and uh, directors and educators really understand the financial amount that they could put on their time.